Hello, I'm Christy Haskins. This is my Ed Specialist Capstone Presentation for course iTech 7500, presented the summer semester of 2015. I will be looking at my mixed methodology applied field research project, creating digital learners to be online assessment ready. I am currently in the Ed Specialist Instructional Technology program at Kennesaw State University. This is my last semester, and I have gained a wealth of knowledge through this program, research being one of those things. I have a bachelor's degree from Georgia Southwestern University in early childhood education. I have a master's degree in from Troy State University. I have 15 years of teaching experience with 3 years of instructional technology experience. My research was a mixed method applied field research plan. The title was Creating Digital Learners to be Online Assessment Ready. I had to choose a current topic related to technology and education. I had to conduct research using peer-reviewed journals. I had to conduct staff surveys. I had to analyze the results, and I had to interpret results through the use of graphs. Technology has transformed what it means to work, study, research, express oneself, and even one could say to think. It's transformed the way the brain processes and learns information. Technology has transformed the classroom. It's important that students be prepared for the online standardized tests that have been rolled out this past year. Educators have to develop and continually revisit and revise digital literacy in school settings. Students have to start now preparing for online assessments, and schools need to look at that as a high priority to becoming assessment ready. And this is a complex and a challenging task. Preparing students for these online assessments will not only be beneficial in their grade school education, but it will also help equip students for lifelong learning that they'll need to do in order to succeed in college and their future careers. Now, the purpose of this mixed study is to examine preparedness of students for online assessments. The research question here is, does creating digital learners improve students' performance on online or digital assessments? And looking at some of the terms that you need to understand, one is digital frontier. We live in a digital frontier, which is where technology connects the world and people communicate and create with technology. And digital literacy involves a working knowledge of current high technology and an understanding of how it can be used. Even though the students today are digital natives, meaning that they were born into this world of technologies, they're familiar with some of the technologies, but do they really know how to use it in reference to online assessments? Now, this study is important because many schools have incorporated technology in the classroom for student learning, but that still does not ensure that students are going to be equipped with the skills they need to complete these online assessments. This paper examines the online assessments and how schools are preparing students to complete them. And research also is included, data analysis of students taking a digital literacy course and how that affects the improvements on online assessments. So looking at the literature, having students take a test online by computer or some other device, that's not a new concept. If a teacher wants to conduct a true assessment, though, they need to follow 4 main processes: identifying clear, valid, and appropriate student learning outcomes, collecting evidence that those outcomes are being addressed, setting the stage for a dialogue to attain a collective interpretation of the data, and using data to improve both teaching and learning. The online assessment does present some challenges, but does offer opportunity for positive, ongoing assessment. Research shows that students who had access to online formative assessments scored 18% higher on summative assessments compared to students who did not have the access. Being that digital natives have different skill levels and experiences, there's a debate about their adoption of digital technologies in the use of informal versus formal education context. This debate is an example why this study is beneficial. It's now not an option of using technology in education. It's now required with the online assessment rollout that was implemented this year. There is a digital literacy need for students. The research shows that today's students live and breathe technology but are far from being digitally literate. Information literacy skills are seen as crucial. It's important to know that digital literacy cannot be achieved with only one course. These skills must be developed within a coursework application specific to the end result to provide needed skills and give them content. This year, Georgia rolled out the PARC assessment and Georgia Milestones assessment completely online. The PARC assessment is the assessment of readiness for college and careers, measures whether students are on track to be successful in college and their careers. The Georgia Milestones Assessment System, or Georgia Milestones, is a comprehensive summative assessment program spanning grades 3 through high school. The majority of our elementary and middle school students took this test online this year, and all of our high school students took the whole assessment online. But the Georgia Milestones and PARC assessment, they're going to require students to complete online assessments, and the students have to possess computer literacy skills. There's features on the Georgia Milestones that include constructive responses. The students will need to type in an answer. They'll have to understand how to copy and paste within a document in order to show proof of their answers. That's another requirement in the Georgia Milestones. The PARC tests are high-quality, computer-based K-12 in math and English language arts. This test will also require computer literacy skills that are more than just basic typing skills on a device. The current structure, culture, and curriculum of many schools is not well adapted to meet the challenges of educating young people for the future and major changes will occur. Flexible schools, new relationships with workplaces, and innovative curricula, including service learning, will be needed to respond to the changing environment. So the methodology I used was a mixed method. Teachers, administrators, and students from schools in our Southwest Georgia RESA region from a variety of age groups, cultural backgrounds, socioeconomical levels, and both genders were participants. I used questionnaires. I used a small focus group. I used observations throughout the schools for data collection on technology use, practice, and preparedness. The interviews and questionnaires focused on current practices being used to prepare students for online assessments, and there was even data gathered from a pre and post online assessment given before and after a completely implemented computer literacy course. The study took place during the school year prior to the state's standardized testing date. It happened over several months. There was multiple visits to the school for observations, conferences. The questionnaire was submitted through Google Forms, and the qualitative research portion of this paper was conducted in Southwest Georgia RESA districts. An overview of the analysis of what was found. We determined that there was technology use in the classroom. What I found on the survey was that 16 the highest percentage of type of technology use was skill practice and assessments. Technology was found to be used 2 to 3 times per day. In reference to computer literacy courses, half of the people surveyed said that a course is offered only once a year. And when asked their opinions about computer literacy courses improving student scores on online assessment, 50% of the people surveyed said yes, they felt like that this would enhance student scores. So technology is used for skill practice and assessments. That's not preparing for true online assessments. Technology is used 2 to 3 times per day. Computer literacy courses are offered once per year, and teachers think computer literacy skills assist students on online assessments. Now, looking at the qualitative data results, what we found, there was an online assessment. Scores were given to one group of elementary school students to see if improvements of scores were statistically significant after computer literacy courses lasting 5 months with weekly sessions were implemented. And what we found was that the results showed scores were higher after the course than prior to the computer literacy course. However, even though these scores were higher and they did show improvement, the t-test that was conducted results showed that there was the difference between the mean scores was not significant. So in conclusion, the difference in average scores after the computer literacy course were not significant. The questionnaire supports, however, creating digital learners. Creating digital learners is important and will support improved scores on online assessments. As I reflect, I think that the novelty of online assessments such as Georgia Milestones and end of grade and end of course tests and the PARCC assessments, the study could be repeated and use more meaningful data when those assessment results have been returned. This study could also be used to support the use of technology to prepare students and teachers for online assessments, and this of course would affect how budgetary needs would have to be decided in schools.